Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it is great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So our episode today is going to give you 5 reasons why it's super important to understand the power of radical responsibility. That is taking 100% ownership of the things you have control over in your life and forgetting about compartmentalizing or not worrying about the things you don't have control over. We're going to give you 5 reasons why that's important. As always, those reasons are going to be backed up with empirical evidence and data to show that science shows these are true. We're going to show you what it looks like in real life when these behaviors manifest themselves. We're going to show you what a different approach and a better behavior would be in those same situations. And we're going to give you a tip that you can put into action today, right now, to start changing your mindset around taking radical responsibility for your life. Okay? Easy to blame others. Easy to make things not your fault. Easy to point to all the reasons why things didn't go the way you wanted them to that are beyond your control. That could all very well be true, but it's also a trap. Radical responsibility is super important if you want to achieve what you're trying to achieve in life. And let's be clear, radical responsibility is not about guilt. It's not about shaming yourself or making yourself feel bad. It's about power. It's about taking control, which will free your mind up. It will get rid of the anxiety. It will get rid of the self-doubt. It will get rid of all of those negative feelings that you have when you're laying there at night or when you wake up in the morning and that feeling of dread creeps into your head. You have control over that. The best way to control it is to start owning the things in your life that you have control over. You can't control everything, but you certainly can control your response every single time something happens in your life. And that's what we're focused on. That's what we want to talk about. Okay? So let's jump into it right here. Reason number 1, that blame delays your growth. Blaming other people, playing the victim, feeling bad for yourself delays your ability to grow and become a better person. A study from the Journal of Organizational Behavior in 2010 found that people who externalize blame external things for their problems, experience slower personal growth and professional development than people who internalize those. What could I have done differently? What can I do to impact the outcome in a different way going forward? So here's an example of what negative or blame looks like in real life. My boss never gives me a chance to grow. Okay, could be true. Here's a different way to frame that and a better way that shows ownership. I haven't asked for feedback or created my own growth path. You haven't raised your hand. You haven't taken additional training. You haven't gone the extra mile to show that you're committed to your role and you want more responsibility and you want to learn more. Instead of blaming your boss, why not look at things you have control over? You have control over showing up early. You have control over volunteering for projects. You have control over taking new trainings and learning new skills and developing yourself as a person. So if you haven't done that, if you're not doing that, switch it. Identify one area where you've been blaming someone else or something else. Replace the blame with this question. What can I do differently starting today? Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's, I'm getting to work late. What can you do differently? Can you set your alarm earlier? Can you take a different path to work? Can you take a different mode of transportation to work? There's ways you can impact that. If traffic's bad, if whatever the case may be, stop blaming the external factors and start owning it, and you will feel better immediately. I would do anything to lose weight except for eat right and exercise, right? It's not rocket science what it takes to be healthy. It's eating the right amount of calories and moving your body. It's that basic. It'll always be that basic. Intermittent fasting is great. The specific types of food you eat, it's important to track those. Totally got it. At the end of the day, it comes down to calories in and calories out. And by the way, it's a lot easier to control the calories that you eat than to burn them off through exercise. So that's radical responsibility. It's I'm responsible for my fitness. I'm responsible for my health. And I'm going to take accountability for those things starting right now. What can I do differently starting today to impact my life? That's the question, okay? Next, responsibility increases the internal locus of control. people with a strong internal locus of control, according to Rotter in 1966 and updated in 2015. These are studies that were done in 1966 and then updated again about 10 years ago. People with a strong internal locus of control. What do I have control over that I can impact instead of blaming the external factors? Are more successful, more resilient, and healthier. Like it permeates every single area of your life when you are willing to take radical responsibility for the outcomes that happen in your life. So, what's an example of blaming external factors? The economy is too bad to start a business right now. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're just using it to blame or delay or procrastinate because you're scared. And that's normal. I'm not saying it's not normal. I'm saying it doesn't work. It doesn't get you where you want to be. Instead, think plenty of businesses started during downturns. What can I do right now to get this business off the ground? Maybe I don't need to spend a lot of money. Maybe I can just start trying to sell my product. Maybe I can pre-sell it before I start the business. I can pre-sell my service. I can survey the market and make sure that my idea is a good one. Instead of blaming the economy, I can take action on things that don't cost money, that give me a better sense of where the economy is for my particular market or product, or my service or product. So that's an internal locus. What can I control? What can I do right now? So the action item here is just pick 3 areas of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's your nutrition. Maybe it's your exercise. Maybe it's professionally. Maybe it's in relationships. I don't know what it is. You get to pick them. That's the beauty. What we want is for you to take control of your life and make your choices. It's not our place to tell you which choices to make. What we're trying to do is start a radical responsibility with you so you can own your life and build the life that you want. Take those 3, choose one of them, and take a small action within the next 24 hours and move it forward. And then do that every single day. Keep taking small actions. Keep taking steps. Keep taking ownership. You'll be shocked at how fast you make progress and how much better you feel almost instantly because you're taking control of your situation. All right, number 3, radical responsibility builds resilience. According to the American Psychological Association, people who take personal ownership recover faster from trauma and setbacks. So there's shitty stuff that's going to happen in life. We're not denying that for a second. A lot of that shitty stuff is not your fault. A lot of that shitty stuff happened to you, not because of you. Totally got it. It's still your best bet to take ownership and responsibility of that situation and fight your way through it by taking action and getting yourself to a better spot. Here's an example of what blame looks like. This breakup ruined my life. That could be. Maybe you were in a committed relationship that ended badly. The person broke your trust, cheated on you, wasn't the person they said they were. That can happen. We have people in our personal lives that's happened to. Totally got it. But instead of saying, oh, this breakup ruined my life, a better approach, a different mindset is, hey, this is painful, but I control how I move forward. I control how I grow. I control what I learn from this, and I control what I do going forward. Not blaming, not feeling sorry for yourself, not letting it impact years and years of your life. That's a choice. It sucks, but it's a choice. And you can choose differently than you're choosing now. So the action item here is just write down one challenge that you faced. And then write the 3 ways you responded with ownership. Or if you're struggling with that, write 3 ways you could respond with ownership the next time something like that happens to you. Real straightforward. Even when bad things happen, you want to ask yourself, how could I have impacted this situation differently? Maybe your relationship ended because you weren't paying attention to your spouse. You were focused, or your partner. You were focused on work. You were focused on other things, and you didn't show them the love and affection that you showed them earlier in the relationship. Maybe it was entirely not your fault. Maybe you just made bad choices and ignored warning signs from that person. You can look back on that and say, hey, I'm not going to do that again. Those are things you can take proactive control of in a bad situation to take control of the situation, take ownership of the situation, and move yourself forward. The key is to stop blaming things outside of your control and focus on the things that are in your control. Okay. Number 4, ownership earns trust and influence. So in a 2012 study in Leadership Quarterly, Leaders who take responsibility are rated as more competent and trustworthy by their teams. Nothing worse than the boss blaming you for something that they did, or blaming the team for their lack of leadership, their lack of direction, their lack of instruction, right? Everybody loves the boss that stands up and says, I own this. It's on me. We'll get it fixed. You've got my word, right? Here's an example of that real life. It wasn't my fault the project failed. Okay. If you say so, were you on the project? Then it had to be some part. You had to play some part in that project failing. Just truth. Instead, take the approach that, hey, I missed something important. Here's how I'll fix it. What could I have done differently to deliver a different outcome? Don't deflect the blame. Own the blame. Don't do it from a place of guilt or a place of self-flagellation. Do it from a place of what can I learn from this to make myself better the next time so I don't go through this again. I can learn from this and prevent it from happening if I learn the lessons that are in front of me right now. So, action step here. This will be a tough one, but you got to do it. Think of one recent mistake you made or somewhere where you dropped the ball and own it publicly. Own it to the people who were impacted by it. That was my fault. It was 100% on me. Here's what I'm going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Doesn't matter if it's big, doesn't matter if it's small. It matters that you do it, because the process by which you take ownership and learning to take ownership in those situations is what will allow you to continue to take ownership going forward. It's no different than anything else. The more you practice something, the better you get at it. And you're practicing radical responsibility publicly to the people around you. That's why it's important to own it publicly. Okay? All right. And our last tip here, number 5, victim thinking traps you. It keeps you in one spot. Responsibility, radical responsibility in particular, frees you. Like when something goes wrong, the first thing is a lot of people think is, oh, did anyone notice? Am I going to get in trouble? Is this going to come back on me? Wrong way to think. You got to take ownership of it because it frees you from that situation. Even though it might suck when it first happens, even though it might suck to start off with, you're going to get to a better spot much more quickly if you take ownership for it publicly, figure out what you need to do different, and move forward. So, psychologist Dr. Edith Eger, a Holocaust survivor and author of The Choice, emphasizes that freedom starts when you choose to stop being a victim, no matter how real your pain or problems are. Nobody's saying that you don't have valid complaints. Nobody's saying that life didn't wrong you. What we're saying is you can't stop it. You can't unring the bell. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So it's time for you to own it and move forward. Plain and simple. Someone that wants to keep being a victim. Oh, life keeps happening to me. Life is unfair. I don't have control over this or that. They're not treating me fairly. That could all be true. That could all be true. I'm not disputing the validity of those feelings. What I'm saying is it does you no good whatsoever to wallow in your own pity and your sorrow. Being a victim has never helped anybody. It's like, I think it was General Patton said, nobody's ever won a war by dying for their country, right? You win wars by killing the enemy. And you win your personal wars by taking radical responsibility for the things that happen in your life, learning the lessons from them, and moving forward. So instead of life just keeps happening to me, I just keep getting screwed over, it's not fair, you think or say out loud, I can't control everything, but I control how I respond to everything every single time. I have control over my emotions. I have control over my responses. I'm just passionate means you're acting like a 2-year-old. I don't care that you're passionate. You're an adult. You've got to learn to control your emotions. I just get worked up. Well, you've got to learn to stop doing that. That's what 2-year-olds say when we send them to their room to sit on their bed. You're better than a 2-year-old. You have more cognitive reasoning abilities than a 2-year-old. You're refusing to use them. Take radical responsibility for those emotions, and your life will change instantly when you start doing that. So you can say out loud, I'm not a victim. I'm responsible for my reactions. That's the truth. That will always be the truth. You don't have to react in a specific way. You don't have to fly off the handle. You don't have to get aggrieved. I'm so offended. That's on you. Stop being offended. Stop being such a fucking pussy. Life is hard. People are going to say things you don't like. People are going to think things you disagree with. So what? Let it go. Don't get stuck on that. Change your reaction to those situations and your life will change immediately. Write that down and put it on your mirror. I'm not a victim. I choose how I react. I'm not a victim. I determine how I move forward. That's on you, 100%. That's what radical responsibility is, okay? Now, look, we're not saying it's easy. We got to override our emotions. We got to take a deep breath. We got to pause. We got to go for a walk. We got to do something to reset our brain and stop the emotional part of our brain from controlling us and allow the logical, cognitive part of our brain to start controlling us in these situations. Not easy, but it's very liberating when you're able to do it. Blame gives your power away to other people. When you allow other people to offend you with words, you're allowing them to control you. That's on you. You don't want to let other people control you. You want to control your own emotions. You want to control your own thoughts and feelings. Don't let other people do that simply by saying words to you. Radical responsibility will help you recapture that power. It'll change your life. It'll get rid of all of those feelings of dread and anxiety that you're feeling. It will absolutely change your life. Radical responsibility is the way to go. We just gave you 5 reasons why. We just backed them up with empirical evidence and studies. Start doing it today. You have control over this. You just have to take it. Okay. James puts it up over here every day, guys. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All the podcast episodes are available there. Links to all the social media accounts are available there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to there. And please like, share, comment, subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. Super helpful for us if you're able to do that. We really appreciate it. We're going to keep finding awesome people to come on and talk about their life experiences and what they've learned and share those tips and tricks and coping mechanisms they've developed to build successful lives. We're going to keep doing videos like this one that are going to give you empirical evidence on why it's important to take the approaches we're advocating for here on the podcast, as well as action items you can put into practice today to start changing your life. You don't want to miss all that good stuff. Make sure you catch our next episode. We'll see you there.